Hi, welcome to another Tuesday Tips. I have a question for you. Do you ever wonder about, if you're getting the best prices that you can, for your medications? Some of them are just so expensive, and if a new medication comes out and there's a patent on them, they're really super expensive until years go by, and then you can get generic. But tonight we're going to talk about a couple of tricks that might help you get the best price that you can for the medications that you need to take. So let's go ahead and get started. My name is Pam Dunwald. I'm one of the two Your Nurse advocates from Your Nurse Advocate Consulting, and we're very happy to be with you today to bring you every week on our free Facebook community forum tips for Tuesday. So let's go ahead and jump in. First I'm going to share a story, and this pertains to this. My mother-in-law called me up and she said, I just went to pick up my prescription and I can't believe it. I didn't pick it up. I left it there. It was $69 for my metoprolol for a 3-month supply. And it was only $29, before. I'm not paying. That's just too much. I'm not paying it. Well, obviously not getting her medication is not the best option. So I said, okay, let's take a look at that. Well, she gets her prescription for a 3-month period. So she didn't get her medications, her refill, until after the first of the year. Well, at the first of the year, the insurance had changed some of their formulary. And so the price truly went up for her medication and the dose that she was taking. Well, she was fit to be tied. She wanted it at a cheaper cost. So what I did, and we're going to talk about tonight, is knowing your formulary with your insurance company. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. But I checked the formula for her insurance. She has a Medicare Advantage plan. And I found out that we could get the medicine even cheaper than it was before, the same type of medicine, her metoprolol. But instead of taking 1 tablet in the morning and 1 tablet in the evening, she was going to have to take 3 tablets in the morning and 3 tablets at night. Not a big deal. You would think. She doesn't have a lot of medicines. And so we reached out to the doctor. The doctor sent a new prescription in and refilled it, and it was $19. So she was even saving money from what she was paying before. Fast forward a couple of weeks. Now she's filling her pill caddy at home, and she looks at her from her last doctor visit. She looks at her after visit summary, and it lists all the medications. It lists the doses and how often she's supposed to take them. She calls me on the phone and she says, it says my metoprolol, I'm supposed to take 3 tabs in the morning and 3 tabs at night. I'm filling up my pill caddy. Is that right? And thank goodness she called me to ask me, because she was still on her old prescription. So had she taken 3 of the regular doses that she was normally taking, 1 in the morning and 1 at night, we would have had trouble. So I asked her, I says, are you still on your old prescription? Do you still have the ones left in the bottle before you got your new prescription? She says, yes, I did pick them up, but they're in the other room. I says, do me a favor. I said, go put a note, tape a note to that bottle saying, start 3 tabs in the morning and 3 tabs at night with this bottle. And I said, now until this other bottle is empty, make sure you're only taking 1 in the morning and 1 at night. So couple of things about this scenario. Number 1, yes, we were able to find a way to be able to get her medication even cheaper than what she was paying before. But 2, that could come at a cost of a medication error, and it could have been a big deal if she would have taken too much of her blood pressure medicine. That may have been a very bad scenario. So we're going to talk about these ways, but there's also 2 sides to every coin. So you want to make sure, if you're in a situation similar to what I described, then making sure that we're having no medication errors by changing brands or going to generic or going to a different dose that will add up to the same dose, but you have to take fewer or more pills. So those are things, that we really need to be aware of. So, as we get older and, our aging parents, or even, some of us, we, develop some chronic diseases, and we're on routine medication. So we want to make sure that we're getting the best deal possible. So when I mentioned before about the formulary, what that is every insurance company, or if you get a drug plan with Medicare, depending on who you go with, every insurance company has what they call a formulary, and that is a list of medications that are covered by your insurance company. Not all medicines are covered, and then once you do have the medications that are covered, they put them in what they call tiers, and they'll go from like tier 1 is the least expensive, tier 2 is more expensive, tier 3 is even more expensive, tier 4, and so on. The higher the number, the higher the cost. And remember, we mentioned a little bit about those generic medications or the brand name medicines. Well, a few years ago, they came out with a new brand or new type of anticoagulants. So oftentimes, if you have atrial fib, that irregular heart rate, you have to be on anticoagulants. If you have like a knee surgery, you'll have to be on blood thinners for a few months because you're going to be at higher risk for forming blood clots. And those blood clots, if they loosen, they can go to your lungs, they can go to your heart, they can go to your brain, they can cause all kinds of issues. So it's an important medicine to take. Now, back in the day, everyone would take the warfarin or the Coumadin, but that would require you to go into the doctor's office to get a blood test all the time to check your levels, so the doctor would know how to adjust it. Certain foods would impact it. So if you had a big salad, you were all of a sudden started eating salads, that was going to affect your blood level and they'd have to adjust your dose. Well, they came out with some new medications, Xarelto and Eliquis. And so those are two different medications. They're very costly. I mean, some copays are up to $350 for a prescription. So this is going to be super, super important. If you're meeting with your orthopedic doctor or your regular doctor and you're having to go on anticoagulants and they want to put you on Xarelto or Eliquis, it's really important to know what your insurance company covers. They may not cover both, but they may cover one or the other. So find out which one is covered, and that's going to save you a lot of money. We've had instances where people at the hospital have not picked up their prescription because it costs too much, and then they went without, and then they come back to they're readmitted with something that's gone wrong, and we find out they haven't taken their medication. So next thing you can do is, once you are familiar with finding your formulary, it will either come in your booklet when you get that every year, or you can look online, depending on what you're more comfortable with. But, hang on to all those booklets and paperwork that comes with your insurance the beginning of the year, because one of those is going to be your drug formulary, so you can look to see what medications are covered. Next thing you do is talk to your provider. See if there's a generic form that you can be on. Again, you can see if you can change a dose to see, and that was the case of my mother-in-law. The dose of metoprolol that she was taking had moved to a tier 2. Well, if she got a different dose, but she had to take, 3 and 3, that put her in a tier 1 and she was able to save some money. Make sure that you talk to your provider. And again, make sure that you're avoiding any potential medication errors. There's another thing out there. There's GoodRx, and that is not insurance, but it's a discount prescription card. You can go online and print one off, and it's just GoodRx, GOOD, capital R, and then X. And that can be used in conjunction, with your insurance, and it may help to get you a few more dollars saving. We use that in the hospital all the time, with our patients. Another thing is compare pharmacy prices. Not all pharmacies, have the same prices. So make sure that you're shopping around. But again, make sure if you're on a drug plan, make sure that the pharmacy that you're using is a pharmacy that's recognized or covered by your insurance. And last but not least, it's very important to mention again about to be cautious with dosage changes, and make sure you're using up the old prescription first before you change to the new one and change the dose. Make sure your medication list is up to date and you keep that with you, and make sure that people that are helping you manage your medications, or if you're managing the medications of your aging parents, you'll want to make sure that all the documentation is matching what they're actually taking. So, managing the cost of medications, it can be a challenge, especially, if you're a senior and on fixed income and you have limited insurance coverage. But, by doing our homework and being aware of the formulary from our insurance company, talking to the healthcare provider and making sure that we don't have errors, and using what other resources we might have, we're going to be able to save some money. So I want to say thanks for stopping by and checking us out for Tuesday Tips. And we will be back with another Tuesday Tips. Again, if you have questions or you would like some information on a topic for us to cover for Tuesday Tips, please drop us a comment. Please leave us a comment in our private community Facebook. And this is it's private, where you have to request to join, because we talk about a lot of sensitive topics with caring for your aging parents, putting plans in place involving families, so that families end up not to be burdened. So we work with families to have a plan in place so that those golden years can truly be golden, and our aging parents can age gracefully. So stop by, see us, request to join. It's called Speaking Out on the Care of Your Aging Parents, and that's our community, our private Facebook group. We hope to see you in there. We'll see you back for another Tuesday Tips. Take care.